The training ground wasn't empty. That made it more difficult. General Zhao stood with his arms crossed, watching the recruits practice their drills. It was 1952. The Hong Kong police force was expanding. They needed better hand-to-hand combat training. Someone had suggested bringing in a martial arts instructor. Someone had mentioned Ip Man's name. The general had agreed to the meeting, but he didn't believe in traditional martial arts. He had seen too many masters who talked about ancient wisdom but couldn't handle a real fight. Too much philosophy, not enough practicality. Ip Man arrived on time. He wore a simple changshan, dark blue, clean but worn. He carried nothing with him, no equipment, no weapons, no students to demonstrate with. The general looked him over. Small frame, thin, middle-aged. This was the man people spoke about in whispers. This was the master who had supposedly fought Japanese soldiers during the occupation. "Master Ip," the general said. His voice carried across the training ground. The recruits stopped their drills, turned to watch. "Thank you for coming. I'll be direct. The police force needs practical combat training, not tradition, not theory. Practical skills that work when a man's life is on the line." Ip Man nodded, said nothing. "I've seen many martial arts demonstrations," the general continued. "Beautiful forms, impressive movements. But when I ask the masters to prove their art works in real combat, they give me excuses. They tell me their art is too deadly to demonstrate, or that I wouldn't understand without years of training." He paused. "So I'm asking you plainly, can you prove Wing Chun works? Not theory, not forms, actual proof." The recruits were watching now, all of them, 30 young men in training uniforms. Some looked curious, others skeptical. They had heard promises before from traditional masters. Ip Man was quiet for a moment. His face showed nothing. No offense taken, no pride wounded, just consideration. "What would you accept as proof?" he asked. His voice was soft, calm. The general gestured toward his recruits. "These men train 6 hours a day, boxing, wrestling, practical fighting. They're not masters, but they're competent. If Wing Chun is effective, it should work against them." "You want me to fight one of your men?" "I want you to show me that Wing Chun is worth my time, worth the police force's time, however you choose to do that." Ip Man looked at the recruits, young, strong, well-fed and well-trained. Then he looked back at the general. "I will need one volunteer, someone who doesn't mind being touched." The general turned to his men. "Chen, step forward." A recruit emerged from the group, taller than Ip Man by half a foot, broader. He had the build of someone who had done physical labor before joining the force. His hands were large, his stance solid. Chen bowed respectfully. Ip Man returned the bow. "I mean no disrespect, Master Ip," Chen said. "I'm just following orders." "I know. There is no disrespect in doing your duty." They stood facing each other. The training ground had gone completely silent. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. The general checked his watch. "Whenever you're ready." Ip Man didn't move into a fighting stance. He simply stood, natural, relaxed, his hands at his sides. Chen was less certain. He had been trained to attack, but attacking an older man, a respected martial artist, felt wrong. He hesitated. "Please," Ip Man said gently, "attack me as you would attack a real threat. Hold nothing back. You won't hurt me." Chen nodded. He set his feet, raised his guard, then stepped forward with a straight punch, fast, proper technique, the kind of punch that had knocked out other recruits in training. What happened next took 4 seconds. Ip Man's hand moved, not to block, not to dodge, just moved. His fingers touched Chen's wrist, the lightest contact, like a question being asked. Chen's punch continued, but it didn't arrive. Somehow the trajectory had changed. His fist passed by Ip Man's head, missing by inches. His balance shifted. His weight went forward, too far forward. Ip Man's other hand rose, touched Chen's elbow. Again, barely any pressure, just contact. Chen tried to recover, tried to pull back and reset, but his body wasn't responding the way it should. His arm was extended, locked, his center exposed. Ip Man's hand moved to Chen's chest, placed flat against the sternum. Still no force, just placement. Then he pushed. It wasn't a hard push, wasn't violent, but Chen went backward, not stumbling, not falling, just moving, his feet sliding across the ground. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. He stopped, standing upright, unharmed, but 5 meters from where he'd started. The silence on the training ground was absolute. Chen looked down at himself, checked his body. Nothing hurt, nothing was damaged, but he had been moved, completely controlled, and he hadn't understood how. Ip Man hadn't moved from his spot. His breathing was unchanged, his expression calm. "Again," the general said. His voice was different now, interested. Chen returned to position. This time he knew what to expect, or thought he did. He threw a combination, jab, cross, hook, the sequence they drilled every day. Ip Man's hands moved, touching, redirecting, each punch guided away, not blocked, not stopped, just moved, like water flowing around stones. Then Ip Man stepped inside Chen's guard, close, too close for Chen to punch effectively. His hand went to Chen's shoulder, the other to his hip, another gentle push. Chen's feet left the ground, not high, just enough. He rotated in the air, landed on his back, soft, controlled, like being placed there rather than thrown. He lay there for a moment, confused, then began to laugh, not from humiliation, from disbelief. "I didn't even see it," he said, standing up. "I felt it happening but couldn't stop it." Ip Man offered his hand, helped Chen to his feet. "That is Wing Chun. You don't see it because there's nothing excess to see. No wasted movement, no telegraph, just directness." The general stepped forward. He had stopped checking his watch. 4 seconds? You controlled a trained fighter in 4 seconds? "I redirected him," Ip Man corrected gently. "Control implies force. I used his force, added only the minimum necessary to guide the outcome." "Show me again, slower." Ip Man nodded. He asked Chen to throw another punch, slow motion this time. As Chen's arm extended, Ip Man's hand met the wrist. He explained as he moved. "Here, the punch has committed. His weight is forward. I don't stop the punch. I add to it, redirect it past the target. Now his center is exposed, his structure broken. A small force here," his hand touched Chen's elbow, "creates a large effect. The body protects itself, moves to regain balance. I help that movement, guide it. Now he's moving backward, not because I pushed hard, because I pushed correctly." The general watched. His eyes were sharp, analytical. "How long to learn this?"
To understand the principle? 1 day. To apply it under stress? Months. To master it? Ip Man smiled faintly. A lifetime. But your men don't need mastery. They need effectiveness. I can teach them to redirect an attack, control a suspect, defend themselves without causing unnecessary injury. That takes weeks, not years. "Without causing injury," the general repeated. "That's important to you." "It should be important to police. You're not trying to destroy criminals. You're trying to stop them, arrest them. There's a difference. Wing Chun understands that difference. Minimum force, maximum control." The general looked at his recruits. They were leaning forward, interested now. The skepticism had changed to curiosity. "Master Ip," the general said, "I've seen many demonstrations, breaking boards, breaking bricks, masters showing how much damage they can do. You're the first who demonstrated control instead of destruction." "Destruction is easy," Ip Man said. "A child can break things. Controlled force is difficult. That's why it's valuable." The general was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he turned to his recruits. "Who else wants to try?" 3 hands went up, then 5, then a dozen. Ip Man spent the next hour working with volunteers. Each one approached with confidence. Each one was gently redirected, moved, controlled. Not hurt, not humiliated, but completely managed. Some he barely touched, just a finger against their wrist, and they found themselves off balance. Others he engaged more fully, showing different techniques, trapping hands, simultaneous defense and attack, economy of motion. After each demonstration, he explained the principle, showed it again slowly, let them feel what had happened. The general watched everything, took notes, asked questions. As the session ended, he approached Ip Man. "I was wrong to doubt traditional martial arts, or rather, I was wrong to judge all traditional arts by the masters who couldn't prove their worth." "Many traditional masters are excellent," Ip Man said, "but some have lost the practical in pursuit of the theoretical. Wing Chun was created by a woman, Wing Chun, small, not strong like a man. She needed an art that worked regardless of size or strength, so the art focuses on structure, position, timing, not muscle." "That's exactly what my men need. Not everyone is large, not everyone is strong, but everyone should be able to defend themselves and control suspects effectively." Ip Man nodded. "Then I will teach them, not forms, not tradition for tradition's sake, practical application, how to control without harming, how to end confrontation quickly." The general extended his hand, Western style. Ip Man shook it. "When can you start?" "Tomorrow, if you wish." As Ip Man walked away from the training ground, Chen jogged to catch up with him. "Master Ip," he said, "that was incredible. I've trained for 2 years, and you made it look like I knew nothing." Ip Man stopped, looked at the young man. "You know a great deal. Your technique is solid, your conditioning excellent. I didn't defeat your skill. I used different principles, principles you haven't learned yet. That's not the same as you being unskilled." "Will you teach me those principles?" "If you attend the training, yes. Everyone will learn the same principles. Wing Chun doesn't have secrets, just practice requirements." Chen bowed. "Thank you, Master." The training program began the next week. Ip Man came 3 times per week, 2-hour sessions. He taught the police recruits basic Wing Chun principles adapted for police work. How to control a suspect's arm without breaking it. How to take someone down without injuring them. How to defend against knives and clubs using redirection rather than blocking. The technique spread through the force. Officers who trained with Ip Man handled arrests more smoothly, fewer injuries, fewer complaints, more control. Word reached other departments, other cities. Soon Ip Man was teaching not just Hong Kong police, but security forces throughout the region. But he never changed his approach, never made it flashy, never demonstrated breaking boards or bricks. Just control, just efficiency, just proof that it worked. Years later, General Zhao retired. At his retirement ceremony, someone asked him about his career's most important decision. "Hiring Ip Man," he said, without hesitation. "I almost didn't. I thought traditional martial arts were useless, performance, not practicality. Then I watched him move a trained fighter 5 meters with one hand. 4 seconds. That changed everything." "What did you learn from him?" "That real power doesn't announce itself, doesn't break things to prove it exists. Real power is quiet, controlled. It does exactly what's needed and nothing more. That's a lesson every police officer should learn. That's a lesson every person should learn."
The training ground where Ip Man first demonstrated Wing Chun to the police force was eventually torn down, a new facility built in its place, modern equipment, air conditioning, everything the old ground lacked. But the officers who trained there never forgot that day. The day a small man in a worn Changshan proved that effectiveness wasn't about size or strength. It was about understanding, about principle, about using minimum force to achieve maximum control. That 4-second demonstration changed how an entire police force approached physical confrontation, changed how they thought about combat, about control, about what martial arts could be when stripped of ego and focused purely on function. And Ip Man, as always, had proved his point not through speeches or philosophy, but through simple, undeniable demonstration, through letting the art speak for itself. That was his way. That was always his way.